And hi everyone, let's sail the world with Sir Turingan. I'm Hil Turingan and welcome to my channel. So good evening everyone. So we're now in the fourth episode ng ating Let's Talk About series. And for tonight, we're going to talk about mental health and cyber wellness. So since like what I mentioned, so it's the fourth episode na. So since the first one, we talk about passion and passion project. Then second, we discuss about faith and language. And the third one, last week, we discussed about Generation Z. And for tonight, we're going to talk about mental health and cyber wellness. Paano ba maging mentally fit and healthy sa gitna ng pandemya? At syempre, bago tayo magsimula, so meron tayong mga guidelines para sa ating discussion. And of course, for this topic, so our goal is just to commit to learning and not debating. So ang goal lang naman natin is to have educational discussion and let's have some discourse. At kung meron tayong mga concerns or may mga questions, later on you can post it later using the live chat. And don't hesitate. So we'll just enjoy the educational discussion ito. And ang goal natin is just commit ourselves to learning. And syempre, hindi dapat tayo mag-criticize or ng individuals. We will criticize the ideas but will not criticize individuals. So para maging healthy ang ating conversation at para maging maayos ang ating flow ng discussion natin mamaya. So let's try not to criticize individuals. So like what was mentioned last time, even before sa mga ibang episodes ng talk na to, is that when we discuss matters, hindi tayo ad hominem, we don't attack individuals, but we criticize the different ideas. And also, let's listen respectfully and actively. So marami tayong mga opinion, syempre sa mga bagay, and we need to listen also to different perspectives and different stories. At we need to listen respectfully and actively. Actively, like what I mentioned earlier, so meron tayong live chat. And kung meron kayong mga questions and mga concerns about our topic for tonight, you can do that. At syempre, ang panghuli natin, let's avoid blame, speculation, and inflammatory language. Kung meron tayong mga, let's try not to name names or drop names, or let's try not to add fuel dun sa fire or sa mga different issues when we discuss it. And syempre, we're going to discuss a particular topic na very sensitive sa lahat, but we try to avoid blame, speculation, inflammatory language in this aspect. Okay? At alam ko naman na medyo excited na tayo para sa topic na to at marami tayong mga pag-uusapan regarding sa issue kay paano ba magiging healthy, paano ba magiging mentally fit and healthy sa gitna ng pandemya. And I just want to provide some context about this issue. So September this month, it's Suicide Prevention Month. And I got this picture from your local mental health advocate. So it's a Facebook page. And I really admire now the people now, especially the Generation Z and the people who are active in the social media now, they're using that platform to really educate and inform other people. And in this context, so September is Suicide Prevention Month. And like what I mentioned, your local mental health advocate, the purpose of this talk, we want to normalize mental health conversations because when we try to normalize mental health conversations, we're removing stigma and we're trying to eradicate discrimination. At least para napag-uusapan natin siya, people will be informed at mababawasan kay natin yung mga tao na nagkakaroon ng mga negative comments or negative words against people with mental disorders and mental illnesses. And one of our guests tonight, I also admire kasi nga she's very active in this issue, in this in this advocacy. So she created this platform, this Facebook page also, and Sincerely Frankie. So if you want to follow it and if you follow her account later, maybe she can introduce and add more details sa kanyang advocacy. And let's provide some context. So mahalaga na mag-provide tayo ng context and definition when it comes to the two topics, mental health and cyber wellness. So the first one, mental health. So I got this from the World Health Organization. And if I'm going, actually nag-research ako and I looked into different definition of mental health at sobrang maraming mga scholars and psychologists talaga yung nagkakaroon ng discourse when it comes to the definition of mental health. But for the sake of discussion and for the basic definition, I chose this definition from the World Health Organization, and it's defined. Mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So yan yung definition from the World Health Organization. At syempre sa kabilang banda naman din, if you were going to discuss cyber wellness. So kung meron tayong definition ng mental health, so we need to define also what is cyber wellness. And according naman to Philippine Information Agency, PIA, the definition of cyber wellness, it refers to the positive well-being of internet users, especially among the young. And it involves an understanding of online behavior, an awareness of how to protect oneself in cyberspace, and it looks into positive physical and psychosocial well-being of young people in their use of mobile and internet technology. So ang focus talaga dito ng cyber wellness program ng Philippine Information Agencies, they're focusing on the young people. Okay, and especially now that all of our students now because we're in a pandemic and the Department of Education, we're now into remote learning and we have different learning modalities in different areas in the country. So ngayon, it's very important also to discuss this topic, cyber wellness. I also got this article. So we have now the definition of mental health and we also have the definition of cyber wellness. So let's focus on this article. So I got this from onenews.ph and it was published in June 1, 2020. And they published this particular survey, okay, that stress, anxiety, depression on the rise among Gen Z. So ito yung topic natin last week. Aside from the Gen Z, millennial employees and those working from home. So, and I quote from this article. So while companies may be more focused right now on the operational part of getting their business back on track amid the COVID-19 pandemic, a report says they should not forget about the workers' mental health and well-being. So yung survey na minention nila is a survey conducted by Premier Value Provider Incorporated or PVP. It released a survey on how the pandemic and community quarantine were affecting the mental health of workers in the country. And PVP is an insights and solutions company for human resource, organizational development, and consumers. PVP said, so yung sa survey, so it was conducted online with 450 employees from May 5 to May 16. And the goal of the survey is to determine the impact of the enhanced community quarantine for ECQ on the mental health of Filipino employees. And the survey looked into the stress, anxiety, and depression levels of the respondents, and the results were really quite alarming. According to PVP, 15% okay, of those respondents are reported experiencing critical levels of stress, anxiety 29%, and depression 21%. And in that survey, millennials and Gen Zs were most affected by the pandemic, by the situation. And it was also mentioned that the higher levels of anxiety and depression were reported compared more are higher compared to those who worked on site or combination of work from home and work on site. And according to the survey, the long-term effects of the workforce mental health and well-being brought about the crisis affected millennials and Gen Zs the most among the respondents. So that's the survey, and it also showed that the Gen Zs and millennials levels of vulnerability to stress, anxiety, and depression amid the pandemic. So ito yung very interesting to. So some of the key insights in that survey, ito yung mga very important insights from the survey. Na for me, it's really interesting because it was noted that the younger ones generally have a higher likelihood of suffering from severe and extremely severe levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. And having the children and spouse as companions during the ECQ is good for mental health. They seem to dampen the impact. So, kumbaga kung if we're going to look into the different generations, yung talagang mga bata talaga, the younger ones, really affected, especially if we're going to compare it with the millennials or it's a higher generation or the sa ibang generation because yung iba nga may mga children na and may spouse. And working from home increases up to 5 times the likelihood of extremely severe depression. At ito very interesting to, is too much time spent watching movies, including those on streaming service Netflix, increases the likelihood of severe depression 2.4 times, especially when one watches more than 6 hours a day. So, medyo ano yung survey na yan. So, 6 hours a day, if you're watching yung mga nag-binge watch, I think pasok doon. Pasok doon sa category na yun. And not having any exercise is a risk factor for extremely severe anxiety, so 1.5 times more likely, and depression 3 times. And those who spend 2 to 3 hours a day on social media are almost 3 times more likely to develop extremely severe depression and 1.6 times more likely to have extremely severe anxiety. So yun yung mga important points of the survey. And of course, the UN now, as a result of that survey and of course of the situation, so the UN, United Nations, are recommended is they recommended the mental health support, okay, to the different governments in different countries, and the different governments should really tackle the problem, okay, head on. At they mentioned that they need to adopt a whole of society approach to promote and protect and care for mental health. And it's also mentioned that the stay-at-home emergency measures, yung mga lockdowns, okay, should be carefully implemented because nga meron siyang effect sa people's mental well-being. And UN also saw the need to ensure widespread availability of emergency mental health and psychosocial support. So I think the Department of Education and I think the different agencies, they also now having the mental health, emergency mental health and psychosocial support programs. So I think last night I saw this from the Department of Education. So they have this kind of program, okay, so that they can entertain the needs. So mga local numbers or mga hotline numbers for those who people really need support and help. And as the economic burden of COVID-19 rises, a similar toll on people's mental health may be anticipated with a major impact on individuals, families, and the wider society. But it's very important to take note that before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, World Health Organization reported that the Philippines had one of the highest cases of depression in Southeast Asia, affecting more than 3 million Filipinos. So I got this article from One News PH, and the article said nga that the stress, anxiety, depression, it's on the rise among the Gen Z and millennial employees. So there, so alam ko, yan na, I already provided you the context, the definition, and I think we're ready to discuss paano ba mag-mentally fit and healthy sa gitna ng pandemya. And our goal is now, so we will discuss mental health and cyber wellness for tonight. At Like what I always do, so I invite my friends, I invite people in my network, and we discuss things. Uh, I invited Miss Kaylor Cruzado, I invited Mitch Macalino, and I invited Ira Junio. So I just want to introduce si Miss K. So si Miss K yan to, sobrang when I think about mental health and cyber wellness, so ang unang pumapasok ko talaga sa isip ko ay si Miss K because I think siya parang living proof ng advocacy ng mental health. So we have Miss K. So ano, malapit na maging Dr. Cruzado si Miss K. And we have also Mitch Macalino studying special education, SPED. And yan, malapit na rin matapos ang kanyang MA. And we have also Ira Junio. Si Ira, she's my former student. Not really student, but I handled their batch. At isa siya sa mga talagang nakitaan ko na sobrang active when it comes to this advocacy, when it comes to mental health. So there. So and they will introduce themselves later. They will introduce themselves mamaya mga specific details about their advocacy. So let's all welcome our guests for tonight. So we have Miss K, Mitch, and Ira. Ayan. So hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Hi
good
Miss K,
evening.
Mitch, and hi Ira. So I think
Hello.
naka-unmute yata si Ira. Yeah.
Hello po. Sorry.
Hello, yan. So sige, kumustahan muna tayo. So let's start this conversation. Siyempre, di muna tayo um, magpupunta kagad dun sa main point ng ating discussion. So for tonight, kumustahan muna tayo. So kumustahan with Miss Kay, Mitch, and Ira. So since nasa pandemic tayo, sobra talaga akong parang para sa akin kasi we're really blessed and parang thankful na despite this pandemic nga, I mean, iba, we need to be parang show gratitude din kung ano yung na-experience and na-bless tayo ngayon. But of course, at the same time, should also empathize and should also give back to the society and help our society also. Pero for now, syempre, inisip ko, what's the best thing? Okay, what's the best thing you've done okay this week? So para at least light lang. Simulan lang muna natin yung conversation ng light lang. So, what's the best thing you've done this week? Siguro Mitch, you want to start?
Hello sa mga viewers natin. Uh, Hindi naman siguro siya something that I've done this week, pero I'm so happy lang na I passed my comprehensive exam. Pinagpaguran ko siya ng ilang months din, so hindi naman siya specifically etong week lang. So, ayun, super happy and blessed na pumasa, of course.
Okay, so yan. So, if you want to give details, so
Mhm.
your compre, it's about,
Sorry.
yung compre about, yung special
Oh yeah.
education.
Yes, yung compre of course is about special education since that's my master's and ayun medyo mahirap kasi syempre kailangan mong intindihin lahat ng mga diagnosis and then ano ba yung mga dapat nating ginagawa kapag halimbawa ang isang tao ay may ADHD, ano ba yung mga dapat gawin ng isang teacher, anong curriculum ba yung dapat ihahanda para sa mga ganitong cases. So, ayun.
Okay.
Pero in general, masaya pag-aralan yung special education kasi ano naiintindihan mo yung maraming tao at baka naiintindihan ko rin somehow no yung sarili ko.
Okay. So, thank you, Mitch. Yan. So, si Mitch ay, yun, is specializing special education. So, yan. So, how about siguro Ira?
Hello po. So, hi to everyone. The best thing or the better thing I did to this week is that I really took time to rest because recently I've been not overcommitted, but I've been doing so much of my commitments, been giving so much time for the commitments that I have that I really didn't have time to sleep well na. It really burnt me out. Then I was so tired. But I'm thankful to be here and to have had enough rest and to have enough energy here to be able to be with everyone to talk.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you, Ira. Yun nga, sobrang, that's the reason why also I invited Ira para at least we can get the point of view din ng students. Kasi syempre, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about cyber wellness. So, mas maganda na meron tayong perspective from the youth And also, we're also active in that advocacy. Okay, thank you, Ira. Miss
Thank
Kay?
you.
Sir Hill?
Hi, good evening po everyone. Lately, nung actually, I already met my students in the special program, students who need who need more flexible learning options. So masaya ako na meet ko sila kasi I also learning from them. And second, I prepared my final examinations in my PhD program. And kakatapos lang ng aking exam kanina. So hopefully makapasa. And then for this week I also um trying to finish my course in cognitive behavioral therapy.
Oh,
That's it.
wow. So yun talagang malapit na, no? Malapit na maging Dr. Cruzado. So congrats, Miss Kay. Si Mitch din, congrats. And si Ira, talagang she's studying now, pero for sure, alam ko magiging successful din yan si Ira, kay, and she will achieve all her dreams din, kay, in the future. Yeah. So, yeah, so we had the light lang. So we started with the light. And dito, first, may ako, very interesting kasi, parang ako curious talaga ako since we talk about mental health and we're talking about cyber wellness. So, why do you think why did you choose to become a mental health advocate or special education major? Kasi since na mention nyo na, so si Mitch mention niya na about uh, he's studying now about special education. Si Miss Kay, PhD in psychology. So, and Ira, meron siya sarili advocacy about mental health. So, why did you choose to become a mental health advocate and special education major? I think Ira can start for this question.
Hi po. Thank you for that very wonderful question. I'm so excited to answer. Okay, so why did I choose to become a mental health advocate? Well, I believe because it came from my own personal experience that of having, can I share ba that I had, oh, but okay, I'll share that
Yeah,
I
okay,
had
go.
mental disorders before,
Mm-mm.
and I'm currently bipolar. I have bipolar mood disorder 1, and I became a mental advocate through the years that I've had my mental disorders, and it was very much difficult to go through it alone, and I wasn't alone because I knew that there were people to support me. And from that moment on, I told myself na why shouldn't I be there for other people as well? And I became a mental health advocate because I don't want other people to experience the same difficulty that I had to go through as a person who was struggling to fight her way through her life with a mental disorder. And I didn't want other people to feel na nag-iisa sila sa mundong to. Ayoko na maramdaman nila na walang nagmamahal sa kanila, walang nag-iisip sa kanila na importante sila. And that their mental health matters just as much as they matter in this world, which is why I became a mental health advocate to be able to educate other people about how important they are, to educate other people about how important their mental health is, and to be able to eradicate, hopefully, the negative stigma surrounding mental health and the other issues about it.
Okay, so very inspiring na Ira. So, yan, so talagang we really want, kasi if we want to discuss about mental health and we want to discuss about cyber wellness, we really need people talaga na very vocal about it, and so that we can inspire other people. Sobrang saludo tayo doon, ano, Ira. So, yeah. Okay, how about, sige, pakabalik pa lang ni Miss Kay, si Mitch.
Hello. First, Sir Hill, no, natutuwa ako kay Ira kasi parang ang galing ng mga kabataan ngayon. Parang ang daming mga kabataan yung super ano ba, yung hindi naman sa madaming pinaglalaban pero ang dami nilang gustong mangyari na nakakatuwa na talagang makakatulong hindi lang sa sarili nila pero sa maraming tao. So tuwan-tuwa ako pati yung mga former students ko kasi nakikita ko sila sa Facebook, ang dami nila mga pinopost about mental health, about politics, about sa kung ano-ano field. So nakakatuwa lang na ganito na yung mga kabataan natin ngayon. So parang ang tanda ko na lang, ang tanda ko na. Anyway, ayun, so for yung special education, actually bata pa lang ako, yun na talaga yung gusto ko. Just so happen na nung nag-apply ako in college, parang wala siya dun sa program. So, nagpunta ako dun sa kung ano yung mini-major ko. Major ko nung bachelor's degree ko. So, ngayon, ito na yung pagkakataon nung nag-MA ako, minake sure ko na ito na yung patutunguhan ko, yung special education, na maaral ko siya. And siguro yung mental health, it's a personal advocacy kasi yung satisfaction na nabibigay niya, especially kapag yung mga friends mo, kapag sad sila, di ba, kapag down sila, di ba, parang sa'yo sila nagre-rant and then bigyan mo silang advice and then after your conversation, parang ang sarap sa pakiramdam, sa feeling na nakatulong ka sa ibang tao, di ba, na parang napagaan mo, parang wow, ang galing. Napapagaan ko yung pakiramdam ng ibang tao. So simula noon, unti-unti akong yung parang yung passion ko, parang gusto ko tumulong pa sa iba, gusto ko marami pa akong matulungan. So simula noon, unti-unti nagbasa ako ng mga self-help books, yung mga ganun, mga articles. Ayun, sobrang ngayon ina-advocate ko na siya. Gusto ko na sana mas marami pa akong matulungan. Kaya nga nung na-invite ako ni Sir Hill, talagang nag-yes din agad ako. Hindi na ako sir, ganito ba yan? Ganito. Wala na akong marami masyadong talagang, okay, G ako din, sir. Kasi gusto ko rin yung topic talaga.
Okay. So talagang, sige, like what you mentioned, parang continuation to nung last week kasi about Gen Z. Sobrang really admire yung generation ngayon that they're really vocal about different issues. And this one, itong mental health niya, parang one of the parang characteristics of the Gen Z is that they're vocal about mental health issue. And di nga, si Ira is from the Gen Z. Sobrang we can learn a lot from her. Kasi nga, syempre, from her experiences and also from her generation. Kasi yun, so, tama, nakaka-relate din ako sa'yo, Mitch, that parang as teachers, no, parang ang sarap sa pakiramdam kasi we're connected sa students. And kapag we're equipped with right information about discussion, about mental health, about the different mental disorders, at least we can give them the proper way to discuss and proper way to talk to them and proper way to educate them then. So yun, maganda yan. Talagang it's really important. It's a must for teachers to be informed about mental health. So, thank you. How about Miss K? So ito, why did you choose PhD ka na ngayon? Bakit gusto mong mahirapan kaysa about your advocacy na mental health?
Oo, actually, my answers are very simple. Kasi parang, it's very embarrassing to admit. Pero, natanggap ko na I came from a dysfunctional family. And it created wounds in me. It created the pains, no? Even in love and relationships, no? And I was younger. So, because of these pains and rejection, so nagkataon lang na I became interested to read psychology books, no? Para maintindihan ko why am I feeling this way, bakit ko siya bakit saan nanggagaling yung pain, how I can overcome this pain. So sabi ko, maganda to. So bakit hindi ako mag-aral? So, yun, I took opportunity na makapag-aral at yun nga, hanggang dumating ako ngayon sa kinalalagyan ko and hopefully matapos, no, maging doktor na talaga ako para mas may marami pa akong matulungan. So, dito ngayon sa karir ko, marami ding mga bata na nakaka-experience ng na-experience ko before. Kaya mas naintindihan ko sila at nag-extend talaga ako ng help at support sa kanila. So that, in a way, dun sa aking experience, matulungan ko rin sila to experience healing and to build healthier and good relationship with themselves and with others also. Kasi ang relationship natin sa sarili natin will always be the basis of our relationship with other people.
Okay. So nakakita ko nung nung parang ng commonality sa ating sa apat that we're interested in this topic because of our experiences. So and because of that experiences, we don't want others to experience that also, and we want to help them. Parang ganun yung the reason why we're having this kind of advocacy and we want to discuss about mental health. So now, given that we have the passion for that passion for that advocacy. So what are the pros and cons? I think yung pros yung positive sides, I think na-mention but how about the negative sides of pursuing this advocacy? Ano yung mga na-experience nyo that or comments told about you while you're pursuing this advocacy? Yeah, ikaw, Miss K. Pag ganun na, ikaw na, Miss K.
Okay. Yung if you genuinely serve, and help other people, definitely there will always be joy in you. Which money cannot buy. Hindi rin siya pwedeng i-match ng kahit anong amount. Ang ano lang dito based on my experience, yung negative effect lang is napapagod. Nakakapagod din. No? As much as you want to help other people, but I need also to accept the reality that I need also to have time for myself. No? Yung nahirapan ako minsan humanap ng tamang timing kung kailan na ako mag-no to reply in text messages, messenger, emails, and etc. Kasi minsan may natatanggap ako na message at night, and it's time for me to sleep and rest. Kaya lang pag nakikita kong emergency, wala na akong magawa. Parang I need to respond immediately. But yan yung isang bagay siguro na dapat tukbang din kasi mahirap, no? If you are tired, pagka na-exhaust ka, so how can you help other people?
No. So parang dati, tama, naalala ko yun, Miss K, parang you mentioned before to me na, yun nga, nakakapagod siya, tapos parang na-absorb mo rin yung, syempre, diba, the problems, of the person. So talagang kailangan mo rin talaga isipin yung sarili mo. So at the same time, you're helping others, but also kailangan mo rin i-prioritize yung sarili mong mental health din.
Yeah, definitely.
So Ira.
Okay pa. Thank you. But like Miss K po, I really very much relate to what she feels or experiences po na napapagod ka nga talaga kapag pinursu mo yun tong advocacy or any advocacy for that matter, because in terms of like wanting to help other people, you want to help yourself also, or you want other people to help yourself as well. It's I find it difficult sometimes when I try to send out positivity or to be able to spread out my advocacy to other people, that I want them to be able to support me also. Na parang kamustahin man na ako, kamusta ako. Pero like, I can't expect other people to do the same for me the way I do, the same things that I do for them. Also, another thing is that, whenever I tell my story about being bipolar, ganon, or having mental disorders, I get parang not a pity party, but it feels like people pity me. Na yung parang before hindi sila mabait sa akin, gano'n, kunyari gano'n. Tapos biglang pag nalaman nila na may bipolar mood disorder ako, biglang babait sila biglang, oh my gosh, talaga? Parang ako, oo, talaga. Nangyari to sa akin, talaga. Parang, alam mo yun yung feeling na naging mabait sila, they just became, like, they became this way towards you because they knew I was going through something. There's a line between being genuine and really being another person who's just feels pity for you because of what you're experiencing. And that's one of the negative things that I believe are happens with this pursuing my advocacy in mental health. Kasi parang instead na they're gonna be aware of mental health in their life or to value mental health, they become parang they don't value it so much to the point that they pity other people. Parang kinaaawaan ka na lang nila. And I don't want it to be that way. You're supposed to be there to support and to help, not to be another person who'll feel bad for the person who's already feeling bad. So, parang ganun, we have to lift each other up, not to let them feel like they're more hurt than what they're experiencing already. Yun po.
We admire the Ira, the positivity in that in that thinking, no? Ang galing, very mature ng pag-iisip. Then, totoo nga eh, when it comes to, well, lahat ng kilala ko na mental health advocates, really talagang mas maraming bigay. Marami yung tulong na binibigay rather than they can give. Yung parang mas maraming nabibigay nilang tulong sa iba kaysa dun sa, I mean, people helping them. Kasi nga, they're really more aware of the situations or the conditions of the people around them. And yun talaga yung kadalasan, no? Kadalasan. And parang dapat din, advocacy din talaga dan, pangalagaan din yung sarili ng mga mental health advocates because kailangan talaga din nating isipin yung sarili natin, hindi lang yung mga nasa paligid din natin. Okay? Mitch.
Hello. Ayun. So, sa akin naman, siguro, I find it difficult na kausapin, especially yung mga taong may diagnosis talaga. Kasi parang kailangan exposed ka sa maraming, what do you call this? Maraming mga situation na ganito. Kunwari, kakausapin mo is someone with this diagnosis. Iba yung atake mo sa kanya. And then kumpara dun sa ibang taong medyo mas lighter kumpara dun sa iba. So iba-iba ka ng atake kaya dapat as much as possible exposed ka din at maingat ka dun sa mga binibitawan mong salita sa kanya. And sometimes I don't know kung ako lang ba yung nakaka-experience nun or pati yung ibang tao na parang yung feeling mo ang galing-galing mo magbigay ng advice sa iba pero pag sarili mo na parang hindi ko magawa, parang ang hirap. Kaya sometimes I believe dun sa saying na no man is an island. Parang I need someone to help me. Parang ganun yung thinking ko about it. So, yun po.
Okay, so yun talaga yun, no? Parang we need other people. Talagang tulungan talaga. Especially in this advocacy. Kaya we need more people. We need to educate more people to really be informed in this advocacy in mental health. Tapos parang yun din naisip ko na as teachers, kailangan talaga inform talaga tayo kasi we should be careful with our words, the way we approach our students because they have different needs and they have different situations and conditions. So yun talaga yung important. So now, so we're talking about it. So let's go to the question, how should we now tackle the issue of mental health and cyber wellness in the Philippines? So given na, yan, ganyan, may mga sarili-sarili tayong hugot and may mga sarili tayong experiences. So how can we now tackle the issue of mental health and cyber wellness? Siguro Mitch, si Mitch naman siguro.
For me, siguro it's through education. Kasi mahirap kapag kung kanino lang galing yung mga nalalaman natin about mental health, about cyber wellness, hindi kasi pwede na parang nabasa mo lang sa internet ganito, okay na, ito na yung paniniwalaan ko. So as much as possible, sana magkaroon din tayo ng hindi naman isang subject, pero sana ma-integrate siya sa isang subject na meron tayo ngayon. Kunwari sa health, baka possible na ma-integrate siya doon as in isang buong topic siya, hindi yung parang pahapiyaw lang na i-discuss. I don't know kasi kung hindi ba siya issue ng marami kaya hindi siya included or hindi pa ganun nakikita yung importance niya kaya hindi pa siya ganun ka-integrated dun sa curriculum natin. So sana sa mga susunod na panahon mas ma-integrate natin ito kasi in that way mas magiging aware yung mga bata at kapag mas aware na sila sa mental health, sa cyber wellness, at least yung kapag nakipag-debate sila or kapag nagkaroon ng diskusyon sa kung saan mang platform, mas maalam na sila. Mas alam nila kung ano yung sasabihin, mas alam nila kung ano yung gagawin.
Okay, so information talaga na. So really, educate, and one way to educate is to include it in the curriculum. So that's the reason why meron ngang per dev. I'm teaching kasi personal development ngayon in grade 11. And yun, talagang one of the subjects or one of the topics, si Ms. Kate. So one of the topics natin ay sa per dev would be talagang mental health and how to take care of themselves. Yung mga yun yung nandun sa curriculum. But aside from that, dun sa health nga rin, sa health aspect, especially now that we're in this pandemic at marami tayong natutunan na kailangan talaga proper hygiene, di ba? Personal health, kailangan importante talaga itong mga tayo. Education is very important. How about you, Ira?
I agree po with Sir Mitch po na it's important to educate people about the issue of mental health and cyber wellness in our country. And also aside from that, I believe na as people or individuals, we have to tackle this issue with so much care and how we deal and interact with the people in our lives. Kunyari, like, with mental health, if you're talking with other people who don't know about it, it's important that you're not too hard na parang hard on na ito yung mental health, ito yun, ganito, ganito, dapat gawin mo. Um, I feel like we have to be careful with the words that we say. We have to be kind and to be saktong ano lang, saktong pace lang with educating people because they might get overwhelmed and yun, they might not be able to want to talk about it more and it might suppress what they really feel inside. So I think listening and understanding how being educated about these issues of mental health and cyber wellness is how we can tackle the problem in our country. Na parang if we better listen to other people and we listen to understand and not we listen to give advice, it would be nice na mas matatakal natin yung issue na to kasi nakikinig tayo, naiintindihan natin. Hindi yung dahil may gusto tayong gawin para sa taong yun or like ito yung advice natin, ito dapat gawin mo. Not imposing but suggesting and listening and understanding. Yun po.
And tama yun, Ira, no? I share the same sentiment na parang I know someone kasi, yung iba kasi when they discuss mental health, sobrang parang ang preachy na siya. Parang, yun nga, ito dapat yung gawin, yung tangang pinipreach mo sa mga bata na ganito yung gawin. That it should not be the case kasi masyadong ano yun, kapag imposing, like the term that you mentioned, is if it's imposing, it can trigger or it can, hindi siya lalong mapalapit yung point ng why you're discussing mental health sa mga bata. And yun yung napapansin ko. Kaya feeling ko, ito lang observation ko lang. Kaya feeling ko patok yung very popular ngayon like what you're doing, yung sa social media, yung mga visuals, yung mga you're creating mga visual materials, trying to motivate other people, trying to inform other people about mental health. Kasi it's, hindi siya imposing na ini-impose sa'yo na ito dapat yung gawin mo, ito dapat yung matutunan mo about mental health. So I think that's the right formula, I think, well, based sa na-observe ko sa social media when it comes to informing the people about mental health. Okay. How about Miss Kay?
Ako, aside from integrating a mental health curriculum, no, in education, para sa akin, mahalaga sa sarili natin, lalo na sa akin, not to be too hard on myself. I think that's the very foundation, no? Kasi, if I will learn not to be too hard on myself, then this will teach me and guide me how not to be too hard on other people also. No, from there, nung pag naramdaman ng tao na kaya mo silang tanggapin kung sino't ano sila, kahit na nagkamali, or you can still care and love them even at their worst, no? Hindi lang yung mga happy moments. Magkamali sila, nagkaroon ng worst, nakagawa sila ng bagay na hindi maganda, and it became the worst events in their lives. Kapag naramdaman nilang tanggap mo, nandyan ka para tumulong, and you can still accept them. You can really encourage them to open up, no? To talk about their issues, personal concerns, and even problems. Kasi nararamdaman nila na these people will not judge me, no? Hindi magiging preachy, no? But siguro ang dali ko lang, sinasabi ko lang to madali, parang ang dali, but it's really difficult. And when I say not to be too hard on yourself, it's easy for me to say, pero it's really difficult to apply. Kaya I need to be on the process of struggle para hindi ako masyadong hard sa sarili ko. And from there, no, this can become part of my character to do the same with the other people around me.
Yun nga, so parang yung human imperfections na sinasabi nila. Although Sige mamaya, baka, I think baka lumabas yun sa question natin that now kasi, yun nga, the cancel culture, the call out culture now, na maybe can also add doon sa issue ng the imperfections or the mistakes na to the point na it's really difficult now for you to correct your mistakes and so on and so forth. So maybe siguro we can tackle that later. Pero yun nga, as long as we embrace and we trust the process, I think the process of trying to educate people and also at the same time I embrace them, embrace their imperfections na hindi lang lahat ay puro positive. I think it can also help in the discussion of mental health. So now, these are all personal point of view. So now, ngayon, how to stay mentally fit and healthy amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. So ito talaga yung main question natin for tonight. So based on your experiences, based on the sources or studies that you've read or you know of. So how to stay mentally fit and healthy given that ngayon kasi ito yung kalaban natin is a period of isolation, we're in a quarantine, it's really difficult to connect now to people. And that's the reason why I'm having this. Kaya nagkakaroon ako ng ganito kasi my way ko na rin to para kumausap ng tao because I'm just confined sa bahay. So, your suggestion. So, maybe the other viewers na makakapanood nito, how to stay mentally healthy. Your advice. So, maybe we can start as a student. From, sige, Mitch, go. Kasi Mitch daw muna.
Okay. Clear pa ba ako,
Yan,
sir?
clear
Baka
pa.
may mababagal na internet. Okay. So, actually, yun yung mini-mention mo, no, ngayon. Let's talk about our feelings. Okay, you need to talk about your feelings. Though, for some people, medyo mahirap, but somehow, you really need to stay connected with your
Okay, nawala rin si Mitch.
family.
Okay, sige. Nawala si Mitch. So, ayun yung mga problema. Katulad niya, mga limitations. We have limitations in mga internet connection, internet problems that can hinder the connection now with each other. Sige, Ira muna, I think. So that
Okay po. Okay po. So, with that, I really relate also with what Sir Mitch was starting to say na to like talk about your feelings. It's important nga to accept kung ano man yung nararamdaman mo, whether you're sad, you're happy, you're tired, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, you're so confused because of the uncertainty you don't know what's gonna happen in the future because of this pandemic. It's very important to really feel what you're feeling. It's okay, yun nga, it's okay to not be okay today, tomorrow, yesterday. It's totally okay for as long as you don't let it consume you. Na hindi yung like what your mood is not going to define who you are as a person. Doesn't mean because you're sad today means that you're a very sad, depressed person already. It's not the case. Your mood will never define you. Your feelings don't define you, but your feelings are valid enough for you to value yourself and your mental health as a person. And also some of the things, the practical things that you can do also, or the people viewing this can do is to, number one, I always have to drink water. I feel like it's so hot in the Philippines that we have to stay hydrated and healthy and to keep fluids in our body, something like that. And second is to get enough sleep, get enough rest, take breaks whenever you need to. It helps to do I forgot the name of the method, but yung 20 minutes.
Pomodoro.
Yeah, that one
Pomodoro
po. Yes
technique.
po. Yung parang 20 minutes you do this, and then 2 seconds you do something like that. That one po. And then it helps to exercise. Though I don't do it every day, I try, but it helps to stay active. Like even if just walking around your house helps a lot. Also, it helps to eat well, and eat when you can, and eat healthy if you can. At least fruits every once in a while. And also to stay grounded in something, to stay connected with people. It's important na andun pa rin yung foundation mo as a person na kung ano yung pinanghahawakan mo. Kung saan ka talaga umaapak or like where you put your feet on or yourself in. And yun, I put myself in my faith And also, I'm very blessed and happy to be in a community like this, with Sir Mitch, Sir Hill, Miss Kay, and other people in my family and friends and other people around me who are very much supportive in everything that I do, and who are here and try their best to be here during this pandemic kung kailan sobrang limited ng communication, limited yung makita mo yung tao. Minsan nga, kahit na gusto mo makita yung face ng tao sa video, maririnig mo na ng boses nila kasi nga yung internet connection. So, there's a lot of limitations, but it's very much comforting that every person right now is trying their best to push past those limitations, to do their best to be there talaga for people. And we are social beings, and it's important to have communication, connections all the time. And yun po, to really value your feelings and to value your health, because you won't be able to function well without your health, without you being okay or healthy today and tomorrow and the next few days to come.
Galing. Sobrang natutuwa ako habang while I'm hearing your answers. Parang ang galing. Yung talagang ang saya talaga makipag-usap sa mga Gen Z, sa mga bata. Kasi when it comes to, I'm learning, di ba? I'm learning also na ang saya pakinggan that it's coming from a younger generation. At totoo yun, your feelings are valid. Yung sinasabi ko rin sa mga bata ngayon na kung ano man yung nararamdaman nyo ngayon, these are all valid yung mga yan. And if you're sad, it's okay to be sad. Parang i-enjoy mo yung pagiging sad. Kung, I think if you have that term na kapag sad ka, ramdamin mo yung pagiging sad because yung happiness, mas mararamdaman mo siya in the next day kasi nga you experience that sadness in one time or in one moment in your life, you experience that. So ganun parang your feelings are valid, it's okay, it's normal. It's up to you now how to cope with that kind of emotion and in that situation. Sige, Miss K. Ito feeling ko marami tong masasabi.
Actually, there are a lot, no, in psychological and theological perspectives. There are a lot of pieces of advice or suggestions for us to stay mentally fit and healthy. But I will give you a few. I will be sharing a few kasi kurang yung oras. Pag share natin lahat.
Si Miss K naman nawala. So talagang ganito talaga. I mean, it is reality. Reality na, like Ira mentioned, we're doing our best to break the limitations just to have the connection. Pero nagkakaroon ng problema, ng barriers. Sige, while waiting for Miss K, maybe we can have Mitch. Okay na ba si Mitch? Pinagbabawal na technique yun eh. Go. Nawala yata, hindi kita naririnig ni Mitch. Hi? Or si Miss K, we're back.
Ayan, na iba.
Yeah, nag-go Miss K.
Okay, so I'll make it short.
Okay. Clear na ba ako? Nagpalit ako ng wifi ngayon. Okay, anyway. Clear ba ako, sir? Naririnig naman ako.
Ano muna, Miss K.
Okay, on na.
Si Miss K.
Okay, anyway, ayun, a while ago, as I was saying, parang
nagsabay na sila.
Maybe we can have kayo, but I'm not sure kung
sige, si Mitch, go. Yes, Mitch, continue. Nawala si Mitch. I'll go, Miss K.
Okay. So yung sinasabi ni exercise, to eat properly, very, very helpful kasi nagkakaroon ng balance na release ng chemicals in the brain that will really help you to cope with difficulties, especially yung negative emotions mo. Kaya importanteng makapag-exercise or kumain ng healthy, to sleep early. But the other suggestion that I will be sharing is, number one is to accept immutable events in life. First is acceptance. No, pag sinabi mong immutable gifts in life, ito yung mga bagay na nandiyan, wala ka na magagawa, you are not in control, no? Halimbawa, traffic, even in Philippines, kung ano gawin mo, wala kang magagawa. Tanggapin mo. Example, love life. Eh, pagkakataon na nagmamahal ka ng isang tao na hindi ka mahal, diba? So, tanggapin mo yan kasi ikaw din, yung nagmamahal sa iyo, na hindi magmamahal sa hindi mo naman din sila mahal. So, isa pa yung mga plano natin sa buhay yan, the immutable given sa life. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, masusunod mo planong yan. Kailangan matangga, you will fail. Okay pa ba?
Go, miss.
Okay pa ba? Oh, sorry, naririnig pa ba?
Choppy pero go lang. Continue lang, miss. Nagets
So, may mga bagay na dapat tanggapin sa buhay. Ayan. We have failures, rejections, all of these are part of life, no? At napakahalaga ng acceptance. Bakit? Bakit napakahalaga niyan? Kasi, kapag natanggap mo yung mga bagay na yon, then eventually, no, ang brain mo, no, ang brain mo will process and will tell you that because these are part of life, this will guide you or your emotions to accept the realities and even accept who you are. So, kasi napaka-importante na pag meron kang acceptance, kaya mo na siya, mahalaga at acceptance, na-perceive ng brain mo, mahalaga ang acceptance, madali mo nang tanggapin din ang sarili mo. At dahil madali mo tanggapin ang sarili mo, even your limitations in life, then, madali mo na rin matatanggap yung ibang tao kung sino at ano sila. And so with the situations, no? So, and after the acceptance, no, slowly but surely, you will experience healing. At kapag na-experience mo yung healing na yan, then you can also heal other people as well. And that's very, very important, no? Very, very important in our lives na to always teach and value what we call acceptance. In theological perspective naman, sorry ha, mag-integrate ako ng theological perspective ng faith, no? In a crisis like this, napansin natin, no, our human strengths have limitations. Even our wisdom and intelligence have limitations. So, to stay mentally filled, even in amidst circumstances in life, we need to choose who we need to trust to. Sino ba talaga yung dapat nating pagkatiwalaan? And therefore, sinasabi ng Christians, we need to trust God. No? Kasi kapag tinrust mo na talaga si God, then no worries, no doubts at all in your life. So, yun lang.
Ang ganda nun, Miss Kay, yung perspective ng acceptance. Kasi, tama naman. Kasi hindi tayo sa pandemic ngayon. So, if we accept yung limitations that we have now, we will do something kay dun sa situation natin. And it all start nga with that, with acceptance. Galing. Ganyan. Tama yung best explanation din yan, Miss Kay. Sige, Mitch.
Hello. Ayan. Sana
Okay na ba?
na ako din.
Yeah.
Yes. So yun, as I was saying a while ago, we need to, talk about our feelings. We need to stay connected with our family and friends. I think it was already mentioned by Ira, no? So I think ang sasabihin ko na lang susunod is that we have to do something new or do something you're comfortable with because we know that not everyone copes with stress by getting busy. Kasi maraming nagsasabi na kailangan maging productive tayo, magluto ka, gumawa ka nito, gumawa ka niyan. But we have to understand na yung iba, they're just trying to make it through the day. Kasi marami na sila masyadong frustration sa sarili, yung stress nila masyado ng mataas, kaya yun yung nilalabanan nila. So parang hindi lahat makaka-cope up by getting, busy kasi mas magdadagdag lang sa frustration ng ibang tao. And siguro remove yung expectations masyado. Actually, yung friend ko, may sinulat actually siyang isang essay na parang masyadong nagmamadali daw yung tao. Kasi sabi niya dun sa essay niya, masyado tayong naging harsh dun sa sarili natin na parang by the end of this year, dapat eto na ako. by 2021 dapat may love life na ako. By 2022 dapat may bahay na ako, may sasakyan na ako, may ganito na ako. Tapos ngayon, frustrated tayo kasi bumagal bigla yung ikot ng mundo. Kasi wala na tayo dun sa timeline natin na, alam mo yun, lahat tayo nagmamadali, kailangan ganito, ito na yung naset ko sa utak ko eh. Kaya ngayon, nung biglang nag-shutdown lahat, nung bumagal na yung mundo, frustrated tayo, na-stress tayo, kasi ano nga naman gagawin natin? So, paano na yung mga pangarap ko? Ito yung sinasabi natin sometimes na we feel lost. Kasi masyado tayong nag-set ng expectation na dapat nandito na ako eh, dapat nandun na ako eh na alam mo yun, nagbibigay lalo ng stress and frustration sa atin. And siguro one of the things na nakuha ko from the school I'm working with, yung examen. Nakakatulong super yung examen or siguro sa iba, let's say mindfulness. Okay, yun yung parang siguro parang sa gabi or at the end of the day, yung araw nyo, parang try nyo mag-mindfulness. Actually, marami sa YouTube na mga mindfulness video, tuturuan kayo sa una, mga breathing exercises lang. Pero if you want to, talk about siguro your faith, like yung na-mention ni Miss Kay a while ago, pwede yon. Parang kausapin mo si God sa gabi, ano nga ba yung nangyari sa araw ko na to? Ano ba yung mga naging pagkukulang ko? Ano nga ba yung mga dapat ko pang gawin? Kasi somehow, yung mindfulness and examen, parang natatanggal yung clutter sa utak mo. Kasi syempre, ang gulo-gulo na ng mundo, overwhelming sa social media, tapos sa work mo, kung may work ka or maybe kung nag-aaral ka, ang daming synchronous and asynchronous activity. So parang ang gulo, nakaka-frustrate, nakaka-stress. So paano mo tatanggalin yon? Siguro ang makakatulong doon yung sarili mo eh. Hahanap ka talaga ng paraan. And which I think for me, yung naging effective is yung mindfulness and yung examen na ginagawa ko every night. Thank you.
Yun, so yun talaga, no, parang tama nga na yung mindfulness, yung ako minsan yung meditation, yun ginagawa ko eh. Yung talagang marami sa YouTube yan, maraming mga mga music and parang steps how to do it. Then prayerful life, 'di ba? Parang kailangan din yun, especially now. Pero ang ganda ng point na sinabi mo na, well, isa rin ako dun sa mga parang na-disappoint din because of this pandemic. 'Di ba may mga plans tayo, ganyan. Then we have this pandemic. So parang okay, nakaka-frustrate siya, but wala eh. I mean, ito yung lesson, parang may lesson na gustong iparating sa atin. So, we have that question. I think pareho lang naman ng question ni Jelay, I think. Yun nga, given the moments or that movements are restricted and limited alongside with the scare of the pandemic. So, any advice for the people from different generations groups struggling during quarantine? So, I think parang we already answered the question. Now, so how to stay woke now? Okay, socially aware of the events happening in the society and being mentally healthy. Kasi 'di ba, ngayon sa social media, ang daming mga nangyaring events sa country natin. So how to stay woke, socially aware but at the same time focusing ourselves? Any advice? Siguro Ira, siguro coming from your generation, the Gen Z
Okay.
generation.
Recently po, I'm to be honest, I'm not the most woke person because I can only take so much
Mm-mm.
information. I can only take so much news. And recently, the news have been so negative. It has been so daunting to see, to read even a paragraph of a news article related to COVID or bushfires in another country is already so parang taxing. I mean, I want to be socially aware. I am aware. I know what's happening around me. But to be active, as an active na parang I'm fighting for this. Dapat dito nangyayari. I'm not like that. But I do support my friends, the people who really actively pursue being socially aware and fighting for the causes that they do believe in. Um, but I think what would help talaga is to really take only what you can take. Um, Usually kasi tayo 'pag pinag-usapan natin yung mga bad news, parang we feel so I don't know. For me, I just learned to experience na when we do take in bad news and we talk about bad news, or the negative ones, it feels like it's more important than the positive ones. If you notice lang on social media, na lalabas na parang, eto, this is what COVID is about. Laging yun yung focus, hindi yung parang kapag sinabi na, eto, may vaccine na, parang konti lang yung nag-share more than the negative sa positive. Parang I just noticed na pag negative nga talaga, parang ang bigat niya ta's mas nashi-share siya. So, mas mabigat sa feeling ng mga nakaka-take in ng news na, hala, ito yung nangyayari pero only to know na meron na palang vaccine na nag-i-improve, gano'n. So, only on my observation, maybe because I don't go online and read news so much. But, yun, that's my advice lang, to take only what you can take. Choose the news that you want to absorb, and be aware of the things that are happening around you. And at the same time, take care of yourself, friend. Huwag mong pilitin yung sarili mo na to take in these negative news kung hindi mo naman pala kayang i-absorb. It helps also to process with another person who understands it more than you. If you're willing to learn more about it, it helps to talk about it with another person. Open discussion para you learn both ways. Ganun po, you meet halfway, or you make ends meet somehow, that you're understanding, you're aware, and that hindi ka left behind. But it takes time talaga to be socially aware and at the same time taking care of yourself. But ang importante is put yourself first and then put others, because you won't be able to give what you don't have nga. So take care of yourself and then be able to be socially aware after. It's like that for me, maybe.
Okay. So, very good. Maganda yung sinabi ni Ira that, yes, we need to be aware, but at the same time, we need to also at least filter or yung at least yung mga things na i-absorb din natin. Although, dapat aware pa rin. Yun yung pa rin yung side. Pero dapat aware pa rin tayo sa mga nangyayari. But, prioritize din yung sarili natin at the same time. Miss K. Nandun ba si Miss K? Ayan. Narinig ba ni Miss K? Sige, Mitch.
Ayan. So, sa akin naman, siguro, first, we have to be open-minded. Kasi, marami ako nakikita ngayon na parang kada labas ng news, parang ang dating negative agad. Parang for me, who sets the standard? Sino ba nagsasabing this news is really negative? Okay, like for example, yung Philippines, 'di ba nangungutang tayo because of the pandemic, and then ang dami na agad maglalabasan yan. Ano ba yan? Utang na naman, blah 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 blah. Parang ang dami na agad sinabi. Ano ba yung reason? Bakit tayo nangutang? Parang for some, ang sasabihin nila, para na naman yan sa ayuda, para na naman sa ganito. Pero kasi in economic perspective, no, parang one of the ways to boost our economy is to inject money in our circulation in the economy para mag-run ulit siya. So it's really good somehow na nangungutang din yung Philippines para umusad ulit yung economy natin. Pero kasi ang nagiging question dito, ang nagiging medyo problematic is kung na-allocate ba properly yung pera. Kasi doon tayo nagkakatalo eh. Kasi for some, akala nila, nangutang, ano yan, mali yan, hindi dapat agad. Pero sa iba naman, ang mali is the way the government handles our money or our budget. So parang, who really sets the standard na this is a negative news? Kasi parang, naka-close na agad tayo na pag about, kunwari, let's say about the president, at yung sasabihin niya, close na agad yung isip na, ay, negative yan. Parang hindi agad maganda. Parang we have somehow, yes, may maganda, may mga hindi maganda na sinasabi yung president, pero somehow we just need to be open-minded. Kasi ikaw lang yung ma-stress eh. Sarili mo yung stressin mo kapag ang take mo lagi na lang negative. I'm not saying na mga patayan, okay, positive yan, okay. No. Hindi ganon. Ang sa akin lang is that bago tayo mag-react dun sa isang bagay, siguro magkaroon tayo ng konting research about it. And doon tayo mag-react kung may enough information na tayo about it. And yun lang. Actually, okay yung sinabi din ni Ira a while ago. Kasi ako naman, ang ginagawa ko usually, sa gabi na lang ako nag-check ng ng mga news para at least medyo nailabas na yung mga news from morning hanggang dun sa gabi para pag binasa ko medyo okay. Tapos tinitignan ko rin most of the time yung mga comments, no. Kapag feeling kong hindi healthy, hindi ako talaga nagre-reply. Pero kapag parang okay, medyo maganda tong discussion, pwede ako maki-join or makiki-join talaga din ako. So ayun, but of course, it really depends on you kung ano naman yung pananaw mo as a person. Kung gusto mo bang nakiki-engage sa mga ganitong discussion or pwede rin naman na ikaw yung observant lang. I mean, nag-observe ka lang dyan sa tabi-tabi, pero it doesn't mean na wala kang pakialam. Kasi the fact na nag-check ka pa rin ng balita, na aware ka pa rin sa mga nangyayari, ibig sabihin may pakialam ka sa bansa mo.
So I think parang I am getting it that we need to be critical. No, parang ganun. Siguro parang critical
Yes.
thinking is that we have all the events happening now. Look at the different stories and you decide on your own and prioritize yourself and ikaw it's up to you how we're going to absorb it kasi. How about you, Miss Kay? No, nag-freeze ulit si Miss Kay. So I think nagkakaroon ng internet problems tayo, technical difficulties.
Kung ano lang, no, kung sana si Liza tayo.
Oo nga. Sana all lies sa soberano. Ay, sorry. Okay. Tama ba, Miss Kay? Narinig na ba? Siguro si Miss Kay, let's have this.
Yeah,
Go. Siguro niya. So how to stay positive
amidst the current situation of our
how to stay positive amidst the current situation. So how do we draw the line between being positive and yung toxic positivity? Paano kaya, Miss? Yes, it's okay to be positive. Parang isip lang be positive. Pero minsan, kapag too much positivity kasi, nakaka-offend na sa iba, ganyan nawawalan na ng parang empathy or insensitive, I think. So, how do we draw a line? Draw the line between them, between the two? Ano yung mabibigay mo na advice?
Okay. Actually, the previous question and this question now, I remembered kasi yung optimism optimism is being positive, but at the same time, you have an ability to accept the realities. Before I continue, okay pa ba? Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so yun. Optimism, no, you have the ability to focus on good life. You have the ability to focus on positive human experiences, but at the same time can accept reality. Kaya it's very, very important for us to be aware of really what's going on, because this will lead us to accept realities in life and to achieve what we call optimism. Optimism is very necessary to avoid toxic positivity. Ang toxic positivity, if you will try to look at the psychological definition of it, it is the capacity to always focus on good life and human and positive human experience, but always negates or always neglect any situation that can trigger negative emotions. That's toxic positivity. No? So, ang sinasabi ni Martin Seligman and other psychologists is to have what we call optimism. No? To be positive and at the same time accept the realities. Kasi yung tinatawag nating acceptance or accepting the realities, it will be difficult for us to accept it without a tone of despair. Kasi minsan may mga taong kaya niyang tanggapin yung sitwasyon niya, pero desperate, na desperate. Now, to be able for us to accept realities without a tone of despair, then we need to have what we call a balanced life. No? Kaya napakahalaga dito to avoid toxic positivity is to always accept realities in life, even your totality, your wholeness as a person. Kailangan mo matanggap siya in all aspects, no? ang strength mo, and your weaknesses mo. Now, saan papasok dito yung positivity? No? Positivity is one of the components of optimism. Na? So, nagkakaroon lang tayo ng toxic positivity if we will regret, neglect, negative situations that can trigger negative emotions. In fact, one of the suggestions, no, if you will read Martin Seligman's book, no, yung positive psychology niya, okay lang naman na manood ka sa social media ng mga hindi magaganda or negative, no? Kasi part niya ng buhay, you need to accept that eh. But after that, no, you try also to watch movies, no? Or TV shows that will make you laugh. No? Kaya nga sinasabi din ni Martin Seligman para ma-enhance ang positivity mo, no? And optimism mo is try mo manood ng mga shows na matatawa ka, yung may sense of humor. Para it will balance your emotions and your thinking on how to handle different kinds of situation. Hindi kasi pwede tayo na in reality, hindi po pwedeng lagi lang positive than positive. Why? Because this can lead you to deceptions and lies. Na? At kapag nag-lead na siya sa deceptions and lies, yun, matatawag na siyang toxic positivity. I'll give you a particular example. Umuulan. Bumagyo, signal number 3. Ikaw naman at this moment, hindi, I need to be positive. Aaraw yan na araw. Lie na yun eh. Another example of toxic positivity, halimbawa, exams, papasa ako. Kasi my heart, my actions will follow my thinking because they are integrated. And so, papasa ako, hindi ka naman nag-aral. That's a lie, that's a deception. So, meron din in the field of love. Ay, hindi, mamahalin niya ako. Sinabi na nga ng tao sa hindi kanya mahal. Hindi mamahalin pa rin niya ako. Hindi naman siya nagsasabi hindi niya ako mahal. Pero but the actions speak na hindi ka talaga niya mahal, no? Pag positive ka, hindi mamahalin din niya ako balang araw. So maybe this can lead to lies and deception. At kapag nangyari yon, this will create wounds in us. Kaya siya tinatawag na toxic. Toxic. It can ruin one's life. Now, for you to overcome toxic positivity, remain positive, but accept the realities without a tone of despair. Combination of positivity and acceptance of realities, accepting the realities without a tone of despair, that is what we call optimism.
Galing. Sobrang nakinig, habang nagsasalita si Miss Kim, nakikinig lang ako kasi ang dami kong natututunan. Totoo nga.
Pero,
I mean,
parang naging seminar.
oo nga.
Ang galing.
Yun din, inisip ko lang kasi pag ganyan, pag draw the line between the two, positivity and toxic positivity, is that you need to be sensitive na yes, you enjoy life, it's very positive, but at the same time, not all naman are experiencing the same emotion or same situation that you are in. So, galing. So, talagang inaccept mo yung realities. Okay, and you're positive, you're optimistic about a particular situation, and you accepted nga yung realities then on the other hand. So, yung galing, hindi ka mag-fall dun sa deception, napapaniwalaan mo lang yung sarili mo, tapos in the end, ikaw lang din yung masasaktan. Galing ni Miss Kay. Parang gusto ko mapakinggan ng si Miss Kay dun sa part na yan. So, Ira or Mitch? Who wants to go first?
Sige, ako na.
Go, Mitch.
Actually, dagdag na lang kasi parang napakahusay na ni Miss Kay. Nasabi na lahat talaga. Ayun, parang true. Maganda na we are reframing our negative thoughts to something positive. Pero sana before we reframe it to something positive, i-acknowledge natin yung nararamdaman natin. Parang we don't have to pretend na everything is okay kung hindi naman talaga. I think na-mention na rin naman to ni Sir Hill and ni Ira a while ago kasi parang ang nangyayari kapag malungkot ka or kapag you're in pain, parang it's something na may negative connotation agad. Na parang, ano ba to? Sakit ba yun? Sakit ba na kailangan maging okay agad ako? Na parang nandun yung pressure ng society na kailangan maging okay ka. Kaya yung mga, alam mo yun, yung mga binibigay na advice lagi sa'yo, parang everything happens for a reason. Yung mga paulit-ulit na lang na ganyan na sometimes hindi naman na siya nakakatulong kasi somehow it invalidates our feelings. Diba? Parang, ewan ko ba, bakit gano'n? Ayun, so kasi 'pag gano'n parang in the end, ikaw rin yung magsa-suffer, eh. Ikaw din yung, madadagdagan yung anxiety mo kapag hindi mo in-acknowledge yung nararamdaman mo. Kaya very important yun before you reframe it to something positive. Important talaga na positive ka, but then you have to acknowledge your feelings din. And siguro for this toxic positivity, actually may mga natutunan ako na parang feeling ko positive siya before. Ngayon parang nakikita ko siya as something toxic positivity na. Like for example, dun sa isang nabasa ko, sabi, quitting is also for winners. Kasi we keep on saying na quitting is not for losers. 'Di ba? Kaya parang push tayo, go tayo, ganyan, sugod tayo. Pero somehow, 'di ba, kunwari lang sa work, um, masyado nang frustrated ka sa work mo, hindi ka na masaya and all, parang sasabihin mo pa ba yun sa sarili mo na quitting is not for loser, I'm not a loser, stay ako dito kahit di na ako masaya. But somehow, yung quitting, it will bring you to something, better. Diba? Kaya somehow, hindi ko na rin minsan malaman ano ba talaga yung positive at ano na ba talaga yung toxic positivity kasi madami tayong alam before na positive siya, na okay siya, but ngayon toxic positivity na siya. So parang medyo naguguluhan pa ako sa ganong mga cases or mga instances. So yun lang muna siguro. Siguro baka may suggestion si Miss K about
Oo nga.
this. Parang
Ano,
how to
counseling
draw
na
a
pala
line
natin
between
'to with Miss K.
toxic positivity.
Hindi, pero totoo nga, yun nga. Pero maganda yung example mo, yung example mo, Mitch, na about quitting, di ba? Kasi parang usually, yan, loser ka kapag nag-quit ka, ganun, ganun. But, like what you've mentioned, pag di na ako masaya, bakit pa ako mag-stay? So, may mga ganun. So, I think it answered na rin yung kanina na sinabi ni Miss K na you need to accept the realities, 'di ba? Parang yes, we need to be positive, but as long as na inaccept natin yung realities, yung possibilities na hindi pwedeng mangyari, yung gusto nating mangyari, doon papasok yung we need to stop na and we need to move on and move forward. Sige. Maybe later baka gusto sumagot pa ni Miss K, but Ira muna. Si Ira.
Okay po. Super husay ni Miss K doon. Like, grabe pa rin sabi ko, wow! Like, hindi ko yun, like, kasi hindi pa ako masyadong ganun ka, um, very much aware or educated about toxic positivity most especially. Pero grabe yun, Miss K. And yung example ni Sir Mitch, pati yung sinabi niya na yung example na people say that everything happens for a reason. Someone in my family says that a lot to me and almost everything. And it's like toxic already na parang it feels like the trauma that I experienced in the past. It's more of, for me, is experiential and relational yung pagiging positive or versus toxic positivity. Kasi parang yung akala ko dati yung phrase na yun, yung everything happens for a reason, is super positive na parang, oo, may reason si God kung ba't ito nangyari sa akin, so tatanggapin ko na lang. Pero as you think about it, as I grew older, and yun, parang sabi ko, oo nga no, everything happens for a reason, but it doesn't mean that I just have to accept that because of that reason. Yun na yun, hanggang dun na lang yun. Paano yung nararamdaman ko? Paano kung affected pa rin ako about my traumatic past? Ano namang nangyari sa akin ngayon? Bakit parang, oh, that happened for a reason. It's okay. Parang, talaga? Parang, ikaw ba ako? Parang, ganun yung feeling na, you didn't experience it the same way that I did, but you can say it so easily that everything just happens for a reason. And it's true that everything happens for a reason, but it doesn't mean that you just have to accept that hanggang dun na lang yun. There is more than the reason why you experience that. And you're still struggling. And it's okay that you're still struggling. It doesn't mean that because everything happens for a reason, that what happened to you happened for a reason, that you just have to accept it like that so easily. It's okay to struggle. That's what's important siguro for me in my experience. Na it's some things that were positive in the past. Na parang, you're just sad. It's okay. It's okay. You'll feel better tomorrow. Parang, hindi kaya ganun kadali na lalo na kapag nagsa-struggle ka with a mental illness, hindi ganun kadali na bukas masaya ka na may smile ka na sa mukha mo. not that easy. And just because it's not evident in someone's face physically, it's not evident doesn't mean it's not there. They're still struggling. Everyone right now is struggling to make it through their day, hindi lang mukha. So, kailangan maging sensitive rin tayo when it comes to being positive. And hanggang saan lang ba tayo magdo-draw or hanggang saan lang tayo magbibigay ng advice, hanggang saan lang tayo makikinig. Yun po.
Yung prefer totoo yan. So yung last part na sinabi ni Ira about survival. So, the mere fact that we're trying to make the things normal, hindi natin madedenay na we're actually doing this for survival. Okay, we're struggling. So, sobrang, itong lahat ng ginagawa natin for survival, we're struggling. And yun nga, yung sinabi na, I think siguro you need to be careful din. Yun nga, siguro sensitive nga dapat sa words. Although, yes, wala namang mali para sabihin natin na maging positive tayo. Pero, experiential. I think I got it, the term. Experiential siya. It depends on the person. Hindi siya parang cookie-cutter approach na pag sinabi ko tong positive, automatically it will apply to you. No, we have different experiences and we have different contexts na pinanggagalingan. Or ikaw, Miss Kay, yung mga ganon, yung mga thoughts namin. So, anong tingin mo? Like, for example, si Mitch may question siya kanina about it eh. Yung quitting. So, parang ang hirap din eh, no? Parang ang hirap din talaga. How can we stay positive but at the same time, parang sensitive din doon sa sinasabi natin?
Let me answer that through another example. So, halimbawa, okay. Halimbawa, in a school setting, you want to establish positive culture, no? Mm-mm. So, kapag lagi mo na lang sinasabi na, masaya dito ha, walang nega, good vibes lang, that is considered as toxic positivity. Why? Is that the reality? Is that the reality of life? Yung bang good vibes, yung bang lagi dapat masaya for the whole year, mangyayari ba yan sa isang school setting? Definitely not, right? Definitely not. So, instead of saying, good vibes lang tayo dito masaya lang. Why don't you say that, it's okay to have it's okay to have complaints. It's okay to complain, it's okay to have arguments, pero let's channel it in the right venue and with proper respect. So, yun ang reality. Kasi pag lagi nating sinasabing good vibes, masaya lang tayo, you are suppressing the feelings, the thinking of other people. Paano kung yung thinking niya, yung feelings niya, hindi ayon dun sa iniisip mo din. So, meaning, you can discuss it or we need to disagree without being disagreeable. Or else, this could eventually lead to toxic positivity na iniisip lang natin na pag masaya tayo, tsaka lang tayo magiging mentally health. No, in studies, no, even that you are in pain, you are in tears, you can still be mentally healthy. As long as you know how to handle it, you can still be mentally healthy. Kaya nga sa World Health Organization, sinasabi niya, your ability to manage, di ba? Manage complicated or difficult situations. And for you to do that, you need to accept the other perspective of life. Why? Because when you see other good perspective of life, you will celebrate it. Once you celebrate the good aspect of life, this become your strength to overrule conflicts in life. No? Your strength can overpower weaknesses. Ano yung example ko dito? Halimbawa, masaya tayo, nakapag-build tayo ng good relationship. Pag nagkaroon tayo ng disagreement, we will know how to handle it. But not necessarily, not allowing you to share your point of view, to disagree, or mag-complain. Not necessarily. Pero dahil nag-celebrate tayo ng masaya tayo, natanggap natin isa't isa, ay ang saya natin, nagkaroon tayo ng culture na ganun, nag-agape tayo. Yung joy na yun, kahit may disagreement, no? Kahit nagkaroon ng problema, we will be guided on how to handle it. And from there, that can lead to mentally fitness. No? Isa yon. Ang hindi magiging healthy doon, bawal dito umiyak, hindi dapat, kailangan walang problema. Ay, nako, that can lead into shadow. At yung shadow na yun will always remind, hindi naman yan totoo eh. Ito yung totoo. So, pag nagkaroon ka ng shadow at hindi na healthy yan, definitely, it will lead to toxic positivity and eventually you will be in pain, you will be wounded. What you resist will persist.
Galing. Nakakamiss kaya. Nakakamiss yung mga ganyan, mga ganitong usapan. Namiss kita. Yung mga ganyan na conversation. May eureka moment ako doon. Lala, kasi sinasabi mo kanina about you building positive culture and ganyan-ganyan. Pero hindi naman yun yung reality. May conflict pa rin talaga. Kasi nga, iba-iba tayo. And if we're just going to confine ourselves dun sa idea na lahat dito masaya lang, toxic nga talaga siya. Okay. Yes, si Mitch, parang may gusto talaga eh. May gustong sabihin si Mitch. Go.
Hindi naman, hindi naman. Ano lang din, natuwa lang kasi ako sa mga sinasabi ni Miss K. So parang for other people, especially kapag yung mga friends nyo nagre-rant or nagve-vent out sa inyo, try to listen and to, validate how they feel. Kasi, it may be different from what you feel, pero hindi ibig sabihin, invalid na yung nararamdaman nila. Kasi ang dami kong minsan na natatanggap din from my friends na parang buti nga ikaw yan lang eh, sa ibang tao nga eto ganito. Parang hindi ibig sabihin invalid yung yung nararamdaman ko. Valid pa rin to, pero sana mas nakatulong ka kung vinalidate mo man lang or kung kahit nakinig ka man lang, kasi sometimes yung mga tao nagre-rant or nagve-vent out sa atin, hindi naman sometimes parang hindi parang hingi ng advice eh, pero para may someone lang na makikinig sa kanila. Kasi ang daming ngayon yung nagsasabi na parang pag medyo nagre-rant ka or nagve-vent out ka, sabi naku arte lang yan. Nung bata ako wala namang ganyan. 'Di ba? Ang dami nating nakikita na gano'n na parang bakit yung mga kabataan ngayon ang dami-daming hinaing sa buhay, ang arte-arte, ganyan, may mga stress frustration, kami nga noon ganito ganyan lang. Parang na-invalidate na agad lahat. So sana for other people, learn how to listen and learn how to validate the feeling of other people.
Okay, so siguro pasok na natin sa question and answer. We have question dito kay Seti. Like what was mentioned. So as an advocate of mental health, so what can you say or tell to those people who thinks that being depressed or stressed is just being maarte o umaarte lang? Or anyone na lang sa inyo, say from any thoughts about it? Kasi syempre may mga iba-iba naman, actually may mga ganyan. May mga ganyan talagang tao na siguro hindi pa talagang informed, and I think if we're going to talk about, if we're going to tell them and if we're going to inform them, what's the best thing to do? Sige,
Sir,
go Mitch.
kasi ngayon parang feeling ko nandun pa rin tayo sa process nung pag-develop pa lang din nung mga connotation na ganito, yung mga ganitong pag-iisip. Kasi medyo hindi naman sa pero medyo tama naman kasi hindi naman talaga siya madalas pag-usapan before eh. Unlike ngayon, talagang napag-uusapan na siya, kaya mas nakikita natin ngayon na okay, may mga na-stress pala talaga, may mga anxiety, may mga ganito pala talagang disorder. Pero kasi before, parang hindi siya masyadong, alam mo yun, hindi siya napag-uusapan. And siguro kasi before, walang platform walang social media. Ngayon, ang dali na ma-access ng lahat. Kaya siguro isang tool na pwede natin gamitin to educate those people is yung social media, or magkakaroon si government ng mga policy about this, or possible nga na sa education sector tulad nung napag-usapan natin a while ago. Though hindi man may inform yung mga nakatatanda na mga hindi informed about this, at least yung mga kabataan mas nagiging aware na agad sila para pagtanda nila, alam na nila. Pero for those people na medyo matanda na, siguro social media or maybe television, kung ano yung possible na gamitin ni government.
Okay, so Miss K or Ira, do you want to say something before we go to the last? So do you want to answer the question?
Okay. Okay.
Go, Miss
Clear
K.
yung voice ko?
Yes, Miss, clear.
Dinig yung voice ko.
Medyo choppy, but you can... Sige, while fixing siguro, Ira, do you want to say something?
Or
Or
yung voice
okay.
ko, naririnig.
Ayun.
Yan, Miss K, go.
Okay. Okay. Clear? Okay.
Okay, Miss.
Sige. Okay. Okay. Actually, let me answer that na in this perspective. Basically, na-experience natin, di ba, na we give conclusion kasi limit na
Choppy si Miss K.
we give comments based on our knowledge, based on our observation. So, yung mga taong nagbibigay ng ganitong klaseng statements, no, these people are not fully aware depression and stress are. Hindi sila aware dito or po pwedeng don't experience when sila nakakatawa na may depression or stress. So, nilibigyan ng ganyan ng statement. Now, if you will hear people giving that kind of comment, I think you just need to be quiet, not to say anything at all, unless no, a person will ask you, bakit? Bakit ganon? Kasi, kapag sagot mo siya, no, nagot mo siya or nag-react ka agad dun sa ganong statement.
Nawala si Miss K. So, pero sinasabi ni Miss K is that, pag may mga nagko-comment about it, okay, and pag nagko-comment about it, don't parang react or kalabanin. Tama ba? Tama ba, Miss K? Miss K,
Hello?
tama ba? Parang
Okay.
pag may mga ganyan,
Naputol
yes,
ba
go.
ako?
Yes, Miss, naputol, Miss.
Okay, sige. Saan ako nag-end?
Yung kapag may nagsabi, parang unless you're being asked to explain it, yung parang wag mong kokontrahin, tama ba?
Okay, ngayon medyo clear na?
Yan, clear.
Okay, okay. So, ulitin ko lang yung sagot ko. So, kapag merong taong nagko-comment ng stress and depressions are. So, kasi di ba nagkakaroon lang naman tayo ng conclusion or statement based on our knowledge, no? Maybe that person made that statement because his knowledge is umaarte lang yan. At maarte lang yan. At merong pinanggagalingan niyang comment na yan based on his observation, no? Based on what he witnessed and he experienced. So, kapag nakarinig ka ng comment ng ganyan sa mga tao, you just need to be quiet, no? Don't react immediately kasi hindi naman sa lahat ng bagay, lahat ng maririnig mo, magre-react ka, no? You need also to think kung kailan mo gagamitin yung energy mo, no, to explain and to share your peace and your conviction. So, kapag yung tao naman gusto lang niyang mapatunayan na siya ang tama at hindi rin siya makikinig sa side mo, it's better for you to be quiet. Unless the person will ask you. Ako, I will wait for the person to ask me first before I give a comment. So, kapag ako na-realize ko yan, no, meron akong ibang group of friends, di ba? Di ba, Kaylor? Umaarte-arte lang yung mga students na yan na may depression and stress. Tahimik lang ako, ngingiti lang ako. Tapos mamaya-maya, magtatanong sila. Kapag nagtanong sila, doon na ako sasagot. So kapag hindi pa rin nila tinanggap yung sinasabi ko, then I will respect their opinion. So ganun lang, hindi naman dapat pag-uwayan yan eh. Kasi like sa sarili ko, hindi rin naman lahat alam ko. May mga bagay na nagko-comment din naman ako. Nagko-comment din ako ng mga bagay na nagko-contradict kung ano yung sa tama. Kasi hindi nga rin ako aware, hindi ko alam. So, ganun din siguro ang magiging principle ko when I hear people having that kind of comment.
Pero natuto ako dun, kasi yung ano, yung mga taong ganito may sarili silang pinanggagalingan, eh, 'no? May sarili silang hugot din why they see that, yung ganyang perspective. And nga 'pag if you're in that situation, kailangan mo ring intindihin, eh, 'di ba? You need to understand also kung saan nanggagaling yung taong yun. So, galing. No, galing na really, I'm amazed. Miss Kay, nakakamiss yung mga ganitong ano natin, mga conversation natin. Mga ganitong mga pangkotse lang 'to, yung mga ganitong usapan natin, eh. Ayan. So now, sige, para na lang to end this topic. Siguro parang short message or advice to our fellow Filipinos, yung Filipinos pwedeng educators, students, youth, or yung mga workers natin na nasa work from home setup na in this pandemic, so ano yung dapat nilang gawin and what's your message or takeaway for them? Siguro Ira can start. Or
Hi
last
po.
message.
Okay. To everyone watching this and to everyone who's going to be able to watch this, um, thank you so much for taking your time and taking so much for getting through today. That's what's most important. Na andito ka today, buhay ka pa, nakakahinga ka pa, and everything. You made it through today, and we are so proud of you. Everyone who values you as a person, as someone special in their life, are thankful to have you in their life. Please do remember always that you matter as much as how your mental health matters. That it's okay not to be okay. That it's okay that sometimes you feel sad or you feel too happy that other people don't feel happy for you, but it's okay. You just have to feel what you're feeling and remember that you're loved and that you're cared for, that you're valued. And the person that can also give that value, care, and love is ikaw. Pangalagaan mo yung sarili mo just as much as you want other people to be cared for. Just as much as you want other people to care for you. Kasi syempre, mahirap nga magbigay kung ano yung wala ka. And sino pa ba nakapagbibigay nun sa atin but either by God or other people, but also especially because of ourselves. And just take it easy, especially during these trying times where everything is moving so fast. The changes are so um very in your face agad-agad. Tomorrow you'll never know, baka lockdown na naman ulit, 'di ba? Parang hopefully not, but it can be possible. So with the rapid changes around us, it's very difficult to know where do I stand, what do I do tomorrow. But make the most out of every day and just take it easy and trust in where and who or where you put your trust in. That's all.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Sobrang na-amaze talaga pag pinapakinggan ko si Ira. Sobrang, wow, nakakatuwa yung mga ganyang generation nila, yung mga ganyang bata. And if we're going to have more of like Ira, yung mga ganyan, parang ang galing, di ba? Ang galing ng, kapag maraming mga ganyan tayo ma-produce na ng mga bata. And very aware sa mga nangyayari. And of course, when it comes to this advocacy. Mitch, your last advice, last message for the topic.
Uh-huh. Actually medyo same din naman sa mga sinabi ni Ira, no. So acknowledge what you feel. Valid 'yan whether you're happy or in pain. It's okay kung gusto mong umiyak, gusto mong mag-breakdown, okay? Humingi ng tulong kung kinakailangan kasi hindi naman kahinaan yung paghingi ng tulong, hindi kahinaan yung pag-iyak. Okay? Remind yourself na tao ka. Kaya nakakaramdam ka ng mga ganitong pakiramdam. And you have to be there for yourself. Be kinder to yourself. And for those who are stuck at home, siguro always go back to your whys. Bakit ako gumigising kada umaga? Bakit ko ginagawa 'tong trabaho ko? Bakit ako nag-aaral? Bakit ko ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay? Siguro that is one of the ways on how we can motivate ourselves. You go back to your whys. Bakit? Pero for some, siguro kasi sometimes gano'n din ako na parang ano nga ba yung whys ko? Ano nga ba yung mga bakit ko sa buhay? Bakit ko nga ba 'to ginagawa? Kasi minsan 'di ba unclear pa din sa atin. Kaya siguro gawa ka nung sarili mong why at lagi mong balikan para at least yun yung magmo-motivate sa'yo para gawin yung mga bagay-bagay at maka-move on ka at maka-move forward ka sa buhay. So yun,
Oh.
choose to always, be happy.
Okay. So parang gusto ko lang yung kanina rin nabanggit ni Ira yung core, go back to your core. Diba? Go back to your parang yung pinaniniwalaan mo in life. Sige, last. Ito na. Soon to be Dr. Cruzado. Go, Miss Kay. Anong
Hindi, simple lang
advice?
naman. Hindi, very simple lang naman yung message ko. I think one of the good effects, no, that we natin na ang daming mga Pilipinong naghihirap at marami mga Pilipinong nagsasacrifice, no. Sobrang ramdam na ramdam natin bilang Pilipino yung adverse effects ng pandemic na ito. At ang maganda dito, tinanggap natin itong reality na to. Ang tanong natin ngayon is, ano naman ngayon ang gagawin natin sa mga realities na to, sa pagtanggap ng realities na to? 3 things lang, no? 3 things lang. Number 1, it's time for us to tell ourselves that we are no longer victims. We are no longer victims of our painful past experiences. Madaling sabihin yan ha, pero mahirap, no? No, it takes time, but that is very necessary. Hindi kasi po pwedeng lagi nating sasabihin natin na I am a victim of what happened. I am ganito ako. No. In these times of pandemic, dahil tanggap na natin maraming Pilipino naghihirap, ang isipin mo na ngayon is, how can you now contribute to our society? I think that is very important. Pero you cannot, and you will never contribute to the solution of this country unless you remove the victim mentality in us. No? Victim ako nito, kawawa naman ako, ganito ang ginawa. No? So ngayon, no, kailangan nating mabago yung sa isip natin para kung ano yung problemang hinaharap ng pamilya natin, problemang hinahanap mo sa sarili mo, at problema ng country na to ay makatugon po tayo sa maliit nating pamamaraan. That's one. Second, what we need now is to be each other's comfort. Now, despite the limitations given by the adverse pandemic, we need to accept the fact that we need each other. Ano yung sinasabi ko yun? Kung titignan nyo sa research, yung ibang friends ko pinagtatawanan ako dito. Kung babasahin nyo yung kay Marcos and Kitayama, he is very familiar with that Kitayama research, no? No, yung mga psychologists na ito, no, when they studied the Philippines, sinabi nila ang mga Pilipino daw in a collectivist point of view, we always view ourselves based on the reactions and behavior of people on us. Kaya tayo tinatawag na interdependent Filipinos or interdependent construals. So marami na nagpatunay dito sa research na to. So ngayon, hindi lang Pilipinas ang may kailangan yan. Buong mundo na kahit hindi sila interdependent. Kasi ang Western countries na in social psychology, social psychology, tinatawag silang independent. No? So ngayon, yung support na yan ng comfort with each other, kailangan natin yan, hindi lang mga Pilipino. So kung sa maliit nating pamamaraan like this, Mr. Turingan, like what you are doing, this is giving comfort to us. No, ito yung makakatulong makapag-invest sa kailangan namin, makapag-provide ng psychological needs namin to relate with other people, to be mentally fit, and in a way, help our society to find solution to the problem. Simple words, no? A simple advice, but again, it's difficult to implement. But there is one key. No? Paano natin siya magawa? Look for a time wherein we can communicate with each other like this. That's very important. Communication is very important. And last one, number 3, we prove in this pandemic, our human strengths, our human intelligence. No? Mahat yan, merang limitations. And ako, hindi na to galing sa research. Based on my experience, na it is important to hold on to our God, no? Para matulungan tayo kung paano tayo makapagbigay ng solusyon sa ating bansa. I think this time, no, importante para sa akin, alagaan mo talaga ang sarili mo. Mahalin mo ang sarili mo. Kaya lang, this time, This time, aside from taking care of yourself, it's time for us to give and to contribute. Why? Because there will be an effect. Kung ano ang ginagawa mo sa kapwa mo, ano ang ginagawa mo sa society mo, eventually, you can learn something from it and will lead you to be mentally fit, no? And to be healthy. And the best thing na benefit na makukuha natin when we contribute something to our society, despite conflict, we can still say that life is beautiful. That even love hurts. Love is still a good feeling. And that is the power of being mentally healthy amidst pandemic.
Diyan na po nagtatapos tong live stream na 'to. Galing. Sobrang Miss Kay, sobrang nakaka-miss ka. Nakaka-miss yung mga ganyang usapan ni Miss Kay. Pero tama nga talaga that with this pandemic, yun talaga din. Kaya sobrang ginagawa ko to kahit no matter what. I mean, kung sinong interesado, I mean kung sinong interested to watch and all, at least may nagbe-benefit naman din kasi ako. I mean, 'di ba? Minsan ko lang makausap si Miss K because of this pandemic. Minsan ko lang din kayo makausap si Mitch, si Ira. So parang at least it's our way to adjust and cope with the situation. And eventually, yun nga, give back to the society. And ginagawa nga natin yung mga bagay. Alam ko naman tayo, may mga kanya-kanya tayong contribution. And ang maganda kasi doon, kahit maliit lang yung contribution na yun, if other people can see it, so parang, uy, may ginagawa siya. So parang, ano kayong kaya kong gawin? So parang ganun, yung the ripple effect and the domino effect that maybe our networks can activate it and help the society. Parang nagamit talaga yung interdependence. Ngayon, lalo na ngayon, no? So very, very applicable siya. So yeah, so that's it. So we're down to the last and I just want to end this parang conclusion natin. Okay, ito sa social media. I found this sa social media. Yung mga memes. Yan. So, kasi most of the people now work from home setup. So, di ba yung sinasabi natin lagi na, I hope this email finds you well, ganyan, ganyan. But in reality nga, we're coming from different situations and different problems. But again, sa social media naman to counter it, that if you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. And please, I think nasabi na lahat yan ni Miss Kay, ni Mitch, and ni Ira that you need to prioritize yourself in this pandemic. You have to cope with the situation. Maraming mga ways for us to help and we're together. Nandito tayo lahat para sa isa't isa, para magtulungan. So that's it. So maraming salamat. Thank you Miss Kay, Mitch, and Ira for the time. I know sobrang busy kayo but having this conversation with me ay sobrang na-appreciate ko na siya. So maraming salamat. And also for those who visited and asked questions, maraming salamat. And for those who will watch this video kasi ma-upload naman siya sa channel. So maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you Miss Kay, Ira, and Mitch. So again, to end this, so let's seal the road. Thank you Ira.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you, Sir Hill, Mitch, and
Thank you,
Ira.
yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
okay,
Thank you,
so
Miss
thank you.
Kay, Ira.
So again, so let's seal the world with Sir Turingan and I'm Hill Turingan with Mitch, Ira, and Miss K. Okay, bye. Stay safe everyone na mag-ingat lahat.